Welcome to Riot Rumble, live from the Media Hub on RiotRadio.ca and on YouTube. I'm your host, Justin. With me, as always, is Dan, my co-host, and this is your premier podcast for all things WWE. So, Dan, really excited for today's episode. A lot to break down. We had a great episode of Monday Night Raw last week, so I think we're going to jump straight into it there. So, we had a fun start on Raw as we had Damian Priest getting confronted by the new King of the Ring, Gunther. So this is fresh off of his controversial win here, and Gunther did have to come out and pretty much lay down the law and let Priest know that he does have a target on his back.
Yeah, no, it was good. Gunther, the king, looking good. Priest looks a little different, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
Changing his look a bit.
Yeah, it definitely has changed up the physique and just, I guess, his overall aesthetic. I do love how good the title looks on him, though. I'm not going to lie. With the black strap, it does look pretty good. But, yeah, he pretty much had to let Gunther know that, like, you know, in his case, he deserved to win the title. But in Gunther's case, he did not deserve to win that crown. So it looks like Priest is Team Randy.
we did get some boos. There were some signs in the crowd about Randy Orton. And, yeah.
I do think this match on paper is really strong. It really is. But they were joined by a third member here, our good man, Drew McIntyre.
In Drew McIntyre fashion.
He did come down and pretty much... it's just so funny because he's such an anti-hero that he had to let Priest know that it's going to be a match in Scotland where everyone is a madman like himself. So I'm excited for this match.
Yeah, just a couple weeks. I think we're 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks, I think, now.
Clash at the Castle.
Yep, going to be really good. It is unfortunate for Priest because on face value, I think the match to make is definitely Gunther versus Drew. And to get this match at Clash of the Castle in Scotland, it's going to be amazing. So,
do you see Drew losing in Scotland, though?
I don't think so.
No.
He can't. He already lost in the UK as he lost in Wales a couple of years ago against Roman Reigns. Redemption arc in his hometown now. It has to happen.
And then that gives us a potential SummerSlam matchup between Drew McIntyre and Gunther.
Yes, that would be amazing. I think one thing that I really liked is how he's like, we see this is Wales, this is England, this is Scotland. He's like, they're just like so much more crazy. And he's like, everyone there is going to be a madman like himself. So I'm really excited for that. Definitely want to see what happens next, but we'll definitely track back. There's a lot of Judgment Day stuff to discuss today, but we'll move on to another match that happened in the night, the first one, as we had Ricochet taking on Ilya Dragunov in their long-awaited rematch. Now, this on paper, right, this match was also really good. They were definitely getting the best out of each other here, and it was just an impressive display despite Ricochet's injury there. But obviously, Dan, we're not going to talk much about the match.
I don't even remember the match. I just remember Braun Breaker. That's all I remember.
The return of an angry Braun Breaker as he would come down and deliver a spear, not just to Ricochet, but also to Dragunov. Just taking out both men. The referee is like, why would you interfere? And like, look at just the pain that Dragunov is already in. And then to get another spear after was just really unfortunate.
Ripped his shirt off. He's still reeling from being exempt from the King of the Ring tournament.
Yep. It's honestly a scary thought to see an angry Braun Breaker, and I don't know if you saw the crowd angle, but this guy ran from the crowd.
Yeah, it's I saw insane. Him crouched in the crowd, and he just took a run, and the timing was amazing. But I think he's suspended again. I thought he was already suspended, and now I hear he's suspended again.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah,
I think one thing that's kind of funny is like, where do both Ricochet and Dragunov go from here? Because those two had an amazing King of the Ring match, and now Braun has buried them 2 weeks in a row. So maybe they're gonna have to join forces.
A rematch in a cage where Braun Breaker can't get in.
It's like Braun Breaker's officially banned from ringside.
What do you think's next for Braun Breaker though? Like,
yeah, it's definitely interesting because, like we mentioned a couple weeks ago, we saw other NXT stars like Carmelo Hayes and Lyra Valkyria. They got drafted and they got the instant push. I don't really know because he's fighting jobbers left and right, and now when he gets a chance to fight, I guess someone like a Ricochet or a Dragunov, he's getting suspended. As far as that goes, maybe a triple threat match between the three of them, where Braun Breaker wins, hopefully. I'd hate it if he lost after all this.
Yeah, after this, I don't see him losing. So.
I'm just sick and tired of him fighting the jobbers, though. We got to get over that.
Yeah, no, he needs to start fighting some big people, and maybe he can bring a couple of his relatives back to the WWE.
I know you'd like that to see Scott Steiner, so there you go. Shifting gears to another just all-out brawl, we had an incident between Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser, of all people.
Yep.
They got into it. They had a brawl backstage.
Yeah, it started backstage during a Sheamus promo, and they got out into the crowd, and
It was like a good old fashioned fight night, as Sheamus used to say.
I don't know how Sheamus fought in that jacket. It didn't look like it was very flexible. Popped his hat off too with that first punch.
It definitely was giving me old vibes of SmackDown, where Sheamus and his fight night, as they were called, would take on Imperium. Now, what's really cool about this is that Sheamus doesn't seem like he's really missed a beat, especially since he's come back. I know he got a lot of slander for being out of shape, but since then he's come back.
He hasn't missed a burger either.
So I feel like this is good. And like, you know what? Ludwig Kaiser is a phenomenal wrestler. And I like when he himself could kind of get his own spotlight outside of just being with Gunther. So they did announce, we definitely will come back to this, but they did announce that they are going to be fighting tonight.
So we get to see them do that in the ring.
Yeah, so it'll be good. Moving on as well on Monday Night Raw. This is an interesting one. I'm very intrigued to talk about this one, as we had Karrion Kross once again confronting the New Day. This time pretty much telling Xavier Woods he needs to leave Kofi Kingston and join the Final Testament, and even told Kofi that he needs to retire so Xavier Woods could have a chance in the spotlight. What are your thoughts on this?
I always see the Final Testament and I get confused, and I think they're like the Judgment Day's rejects who couldn't get in, but yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know where this is going. I kind of got it's left out on this one.
It's definitely interesting because the New Day were such a prominent tag team, obviously with Big E, and Kofi won the belt, Big E won the title, and Xavier Woods, he actually did win King of the Ring, but a week after winning got squashed by Roman. So Kross was more or less saying it needs to be your time in the spotlight. And he said to Kofi, he's like, I'll give you an early retirement so I could take Xavier Woods. It seems like he's really invested. So he did let him know. He's like, what you could do today is you could watch AOP take on the Creed brothers. And they did just that. So AOP had a good match against the Creed brothers. One of my favorite tag teams is obviously the Creed brothers, but it wouldn't be enough as they hit their newly named finisher called What a Rush. A nod to the Road Warriors there.
Yeah, as it was a rush for sure.
As Paul Ellering is their manager as well, which is pretty cool. So looks like AOP's kind of getting the push again. Do you have any thoughts on AOP? Just, I guess, like you said, the Judgment Day rejects in a way.
The Judgment Day rejects. That's but yeah, they're doing something. Yeah, I don't know.
I definitely want to see the Creed brothers with Chad Gable.
That's what I was waiting. I was waiting for you to mention that, because I'm just, when is that happening?
Yeah.
It looks like it's happening, but when?
Yeah.
They've been teasing it for a while.
We'll definitely segue back to them, because in the meantime, we have more Judgment Day discussions, this time more of a lighthearted one, as we finally had the long-awaited matchup of Braun Strowman versus JD McDonough on Monday Night Raw. Two just absolute behemoths.
The start of this fight was incredible. JD went into the ring and Braun just picked him up, heaved him over his head and dropped him, but then later on threw him across the ring. The giant. I don't know, Braun Strowman. It was a beat down. Obviously having to have some interference run in through the Judgment Day. But yeah, what did you think of this?
Yeah, honestly, I really enjoy the work that Braun Strowman's been able to do since coming back. I know we mentioned it a bit ago that he had a career-threatening injury, career-ending,
stay healthy.
And now, he's back looking better than ever. And it's really cool the way he's able to play a part in the Judgment Day story, because obviously they have so much going on. But yet, almost at times, it feels like this is the part that you look forward to the most. So he was able to outlast, I guess, JD.
Victorious.
He was. But it didn't stop there, though, for the Judgment Day, as their newest member, Carlito, took on his former best friend, Rey Mysterio. So this was another Judgment Day ramification match, as it seems like
this is a great match. I just love watching Rey Mysterio, and any match that he's in, just unbelievable. At his age, flying around, flipping out of the ring, doing backflips, getting dropped on his head. I don't know how much longer he's going to last, but enjoy it while it does, because he's I don't know, once he's gone, will we see other wrestlers like him? Yeah, amen to that. It's really such a testament to the business, the work he's been able to put in and continue to do. It is unfortunate that it seems like every time he gets a team or a member or a faction, they just betray him. And Carlito was the newest member. And honestly, Carlito in the Judgment Day was not something I knew that we were going to get, but something that I'm happy we are getting. And after this match, it would be the leader, I guess, the so-and-so leader now of the Judgment Day, Damian Priest, coming down, making an appearance and attacking Rey Mysterio. So and just ruthless. You don't realize how big Damian Priest is until you see him with some of these smaller guys. And he just towered over Rey Mysterio. And poor Rey, I think a few weeks ago we were talking about, he's almost like Jey Uso. When is he going to get a win? He finally got a win. 2 seconds later, he's just getting pile drived into the ring. But tonight we get a rematch. Priest versus Mysterio.
Yep, that'll be good. Hopefully he doesn't take us out to heaven like that tonight, because that was brutal. But yeah, honestly, we'll touch upon it more. But this Damian Priest run as champ and it being the unofficial leader of the Judgment Day since Rhea Ripley's absence, I'm not against it. No. I think we see this where he's put Carlito under trial, and what does he do? He comes to his aid. Yep. Very valiant.
Yeah, no, I think the Judgment Day stock has gone up in the last 3 or 4 weeks, and they're really showing that they can be a main event every week.
Yeah,
so good for them.
And we were discussing it off camera too, that with Monday Night Raw at times it seems like it's really Judgment Day and Monday Night Raw, because the Judgment Day they control so many of the storylines. Yeah. And honestly, like, I'm not mad at that. And like you said, they're really just pushing up their stock to where if we're getting the Judgment Day as like the main thing and then the rest is just the rest, I'm okay with that. So we'll move on now to another storyline which we both love, which is just the Alpha Academy. So what happened with them this time on Raw?
Poor Otis. We got Otis versus Bronson Reed. Really good fight. The two of them just beat the heck out of each other for a while. And then Otis had the advantage. The crowd was calling for the worm. Otis was doing his dance. He was good to go. And then what happened?
Yeah, Chad Gable would interfere and tell him no. He was like, we cannot do this. We don't want you to hit the worm. And next thing we knew, it was Bronson Reed hitting a tsunami on a distracted Otis. Yeah. And it went from bad to worse, because after the match,
from bad to weird,
Chad Gable got in the ring and was like, you don't listen to me. You're done. You're getting your beating. And
blamed him for his loss in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. And he tries to whip Otis.
Takes off his belt and threatens to whip.
Yeah, Otis was ready to take it too. That was like almost the saddest part. He was like, it's done, it's over. And then Maxine Dupree had to intervene here. And yeah, it's the Alpha Academy is really weird right now. I didn't get a photo of this, but then after Sami Zayn tried to save Otis, but then they protected Chad.
Yes. Yeah, once again, I don't know what Chad has on them, some kind of brainwash potion, but yeah, unfortunately Otis again had his chance. Sami Zayn reached out his hand, wanted him to be his buddy. I'm like, are we gonna see a Sami Zayn Otis
like what's gonna
tag
happen?
team? But yeah, Sami got beat up.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, Chad Gable walked out with his guys.
Yep, exactly.
Poor Otis. We didn't get to see the worm.
I know, man. Such
and
a
Otis,
shame.
At least we didn't get to see him get whipped with the belt.
Yeah,
we were spared of that. But we'll leave the belt whipping up to the Rock.
Yeah, exactly. We'll stick on the Alpha Academy just because I do want to circle back to the Creed brothers. Yep. How good would it be with this faction with the Creed brothers?
I think with that large group and then the Judgment Day, I think on Raw, man, it would be such a good storyline.
It would be.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're just teasing us. I don't know if we've misread something, but they got to do something.
They really do.
Yeah.
I think when you look at Alpha Academy with Maxine Dupree, Tozawa, and Otis, as much as they are talented wrestlers, just for me, get rid of all of them and bring in the Creed brothers and the girl. I just forget her name off the top of my head, but they're like, it works, and they have also spoken on screen with Chad Gable, the girl as well. I hate that I forget her name now, but I just think it's money right there. Like, that would be it.
And I feel bad for Otis because I think once this storyline's over, I don't know where he goes. Like, does Sami Zayn really need Otis hanging around?
No.
It might be a fun story for a couple of weeks. We might see a few worms, but yeah, it's wearing its time thin. So.
Yeah, and like, just sticking on that too, like, I could fully see Chad Gable winning the IC title, and then the Creed brothers under Alpha Academy beating the Awesome Truth. Like, it's writing it. So
and we're still holding out for Kurt Angle.
We really are. We really are. I really want that to happen one day. We're sticking with it. We're holding out. But moving on now to the main event of Monday Night Raw.
And keep in mind that Braun Strowman is still chasing JT McDonough through the hallways of the arena.
Yes.
It hasn't finished yet.
We had Becky Lynch enclosing her rematch clause against Liv Morgan for the title in a cage match, so there would be no interference. And wow, honestly, this match was so much better than their match at Saudi Arabia.
Really good match. Yeah, good use of the ring, good use of the cage. Beat the heck out of each other for a while. And then we got
disaster struck.
Dom coming down to the ring.
I really enjoyed Liv Morgan's ring work of the cage, like you said, but it wasn't enough because it looked like Becky had the upper hand. And then, like you said, Dominic Mysterio would come down and open up that cage. But who would get involved?
Braun Strowman. He runs into Dom, slams him into the fence, hits Becky, knocks her out.
and it was done. That's all she wrote. JD McDonough would escape the monster once again, as Liv Morgan would
escapes the monster.
Liv Morgan would retain the belt, and it was just, wow, what a commotion. The Judgment Day were not happy with Dominic Mysterio for being out there, and next thing we know, we're getting a wild goose chase as I just love this photo, by the way. You just, in the act, it was done. Becky Lynch, helpless again amidst the Judgment Day's drama. She might feel more hard done by than anyone right now.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think she said to Liv, too, like, you can't beat me without interference or someone coming into the match to help you. And again, she did. But
But unfortunately for Becky and the Judgment Day and everyone involved, especially Rhea Ripley, this wasn't even the talking point because something happened after Raw.
Yeah, and some people might have missed it because it kind of went off air like right when it happened, but she gave a big kiss to Dom. And Rhea Ripley, what's she thinking at home?
Yeah, oh man, this is a messy situation. Not only are these gals, I guess, foes in the ring, it looks like they'll have to be foes outside of it too, because now Liv has taken Rhea's title and her man.
Yep.
What is going on right now?
Yeah, so I guess this is a storyline now because Becky Lynch's contract has expired.
Yep.
She hasn't signed a new one, and I think she's going to be taking a bit of a break.
Yep, it's looking like it's full throttle. Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley, best friends turned bitter enemies. This is cinema. This is must see right here. I know I said I think it was last week that I think the story of Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley probably intrigues me just as much, if not more, than any women's story they've ever told.
Yeah, I think it's probably the best storyline right now.
And now that they're doing this, oh man, the return pop for Rhea Ripley is going to be insane. All eyes will definitely be on the Judgment Day tonight on Raw for sure.
Do we know when Rhea Ripley is returning from her injury?
I don't know. We still don't, unfortunately.
Hopefully soon, maybe SummerSlam.
I know that could maybe
sooner.
The pop would be crazy.
Maybe tonight.
Who knows? Lock it in.
Especially after this. After that kiss, we might
hear from her.
She might come out.
Yeah, for
with
sure.
A sling on and say something.
Dude, that injured wrestler. I'm coming back. But without further ado, though, we'll move on to SmackDown.
Yep.
Right off the bat, we both said this too. Bit of a more disappointing SmackDown. A bit slow, especially compared to Raw this week. But we begin today to discuss A-Town Down and DIY. So we had Austin Theory taking on Tommaso Ciampa on SmackDown. And honestly, these two, great wrestlers, fantastic. Didn't really care as much for the match.
I can't tell who's hitting who in this photo. They're both kind of making the same face.
But it would be the drama during the match. So obviously the tag team members of DIY and A-Town Down Under were present. So we had Grayson Waller and Johnny Gargano getting into a bit of a scuffle outside of the ring, to where Grayson Waller, who was really feeling himself, let everyone know that he is the reason why Austin Theory's career got rejuvenated. And Austin Theory heard this. He didn't like it at all. You see they're arguing there. And then Tommaso Ciampa got the roll up 1, 2, 3. So DIY now has one up on A-Town Down Under amidst all this chaos. So just first initial thoughts, like, is this the end of A-Town Down Under, do we think?
I don't know. I don't know if this is just a little bit of turmoil for today or if this is going to cause something else. I'm more concerned about that guy's shirt. That's something.
The Aussie. I'm a huge fan of both of these superstars, and I was so happy when they aligned and won the titles. I just don't want it to be done. Like, why are we having this conflict like 2 months into their title reign? I thought, like I said to you as well, I thought that their whole persona of they're the best, no one comes close.
Yeah.
I don't know why Theory would be mad at that.
Seems like there's a lot of tag team shuffling going on right now.
There really is.
I don't know where we're going to end up in a couple months.
Yep. Only time will tell about that. But skipping over now is we do have, and I was excited to talk about this, but then the actual segment itself might have fell flat. But we had Queen Nia, I guess, officially introducing herself to Bayley, but it wasn't Bayley who got a chance to stand up to Nia. It was actually Piper Niven with Chelsea Green. Now, I don't know what my initial thoughts are when I saw this. I was more or less confused because I wanted them to build up Nia versus Bayley.
Yep.
We see Bayley in the bottom left there, just struggling.
And Nia, did you catch her? The crowd booing her. The "you suck" chants.
Yeah.
You know, she kind of embraced that. She said, you know, I am your queen. So it was a good intro. But then, shock, because we thought we were going to see something else, and it turned into this.
Yeah. So Bayley, despite being the champion, who is technically the highest out of these 4 women, was the only one left on the ground.
Yep.
We see her in the bottom right, or bottom left, sorry. And then later on, the camera just panned to her just struggling in the ring after Piper Niven attacked her. So I don't know, because I like Bailey, but it feels like they just made her win the title so Damage Control could be over, because she hasn't really stood tall.
Yeah.
And I think when you look at this segment, you see Chelsea Green hyping up Piper Niven, you see Queen Nia, but you see the champion of SmackDown on the ground.
And unlike some of the other, like the men's titles, Nia made it clear that she didn't care who the champ was. She just said she wanted the belt and she's going to annihilate whoever at SummerSlam. So I don't know. I don't know where we're going to go. I don't know if it's going to be Bailey or if it's going to be
Piper Niven. Yeah, it could even be neither of them. It is definitely intriguing, because just to really on your point, we kind of know what we want from the men's side. This isn't even giving me anything to want from the women, so it'll be intriguing.
And we still want Tiffany Stratton in there somewhere.
We do. We literally do. So hopefully it could be Tiffy time one way or another. But in the meantime, I just think that the women's division is in a transitional period on SmackDown, and I think it's really just going to begin, unfortunately, after Nia Jax wins the belt, because that's still my prediction. Moving on now to from a queen to a megastar. We have the one and only LA Knight. Now, he obviously has a bone to pick with the certain Logan Paul. We're actually unofficially sponsored by Prime, so we got to mince our words. Nah, but in all seriousness, there was an angry LA Knight cut a promo backstage, and he cut a promo. But then,
now, why is he so mad with Logan Paul? I kind of missed that one.
Do we
know, or
I really don't know.
After him and AJ Styles went at it for a while, and he lost that chance at Cody Rhodes, that's his next thing is to go after Logan Paul.
I guess so. They had a bit of beef before when Logan first started, and they'd cut promos on each other, and Logan Paul was like the viral superstar, but he's like, I'm the real megastar. It was kind of funny, because as you were telling me that he cuts his promo, but Logan wasn't even on.
Logan wasn't there. He's walking around saying, where's Logan? And the manager says Logan's not here.
Yeah, he's like, dude, what are you talking about?
Kinda,
you missed the memo.
Kind of the end of it.
Yeah,
and then it appeared that he just kept walking around backstage, because we saw him later on in the evening still backstage walking around a couple times, actually.
We did,
yeah. We saw him with Carmelo Hayes, and then we saw later on with AJ Styles.
Yeah, so honestly, we'll touch upon that again, but I did, now that you mention it, he did. He interacted with a lot of people on SmackDown, but it wasn't even
Maybe he's mad that he doesn't have a Prime bottle.
Maybe.
And that he's...
Because Cody Rhodes has one.
Yeah, and he's the meat guy instead.
I know, he'll take the Slim Jim instead. So what's next for LA Knight? I guess it's Logan Paul. I know we discussed before that we thought maybe he'd enter in the picture with Cody Rhodes, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen now. It's more or less going to go for that mid-card title.
Yep.
We think the match is going to happen, so if it does, do we think this is LA's time, or do we still think... Because Logan Paul is kind of a man possessed right now, to be honest.
After the Cody Rhodes fight, I don't see anyone beating Logan Paul. I don't. And I'm actually shocked that Logan Paul didn't beat Cody Rhodes, but I just feel like Cody Rhodes' stamina at the end of a match, he can just carry on and just pull energy out of nowhere. But I don't see anyone beating Logan Paul right now. I just think the stuff that he's doing right now is so above what other people are doing.
Yeah, for sure.
He's so entertaining. I don't see him losing.
Yeah, I'm fully with you on that. We'll see as the weeks go by how this story kind of develops. But until then, we're going to go to more of a story that we all know and might be sick of at this time. We're definitely not, but it is the Bloodline. So what happened on this installment of SmackDown was more of a wholehearted moment with the Bloodline.
Very different, right?
We had Kevin Owens and the wise man Paul Heyman discussing. Now, this was really good to see, because it didn't feel like this was Paul Heyman, the wise man, talking to Kevin Owens, the wrestler. This was legit Paul Heyman, the father, talking to Kevin Owens, the father.
From dad to dad. And like, man, can we get more Kevin Owens? He is so good. I absolutely love watching Kevin Owens. He talks great. But this was such a cool segment. Like, this was really good. A shout out to both of these guys. But Kevin Owens, he's not backing down from the Bloodline.
Yeah.
He's not going to let them come in and take things over and beat up guys randomly. And he said this is his WWE. It's his place. He doesn't want these guys here. They don't belong here.
It was awesome.
And then there was kind of like some mutual respect thrown around. Paul Heyman saying that Roman Reigns respects Kevin Owens and vice versa. Paul Heyman was crying in the ring.
It was really good.
Like...
It was one of those SmackDown segments where I was like, this is why SmackDown has always been my like premiere show.
Yep.
It really hit because, like you said, he was crying. He was like, look, just don't do this.
Yep.
And then he was like, those guys aren't the bloodline. And then KO was like, you're right, they're not the bloodline. The bloodline was Roman, was Jimmy, was Jay, who I respect. These guys are coming into my place, so I don't want to. I don't want to let them. So just to relay off your point there, I'm with you. It was definitely really cool to see, and it was different. But
and he shouted out to Randy Orton too, so he's at home, he's recovering, so hopefully see Randy Orton back, the Viper.
I think just to not to say everything you just said, but we do really need more Kevin Owens because he's an athlete and wrestler that when you have him, you like it's just expected. But then when you lose him for a couple of weeks, it really shows. And we didn't have him up to King of the Ring. Then he returns, and now he's cutting this amazing promo. So it was good to see, and I'm definitely excited. And before that segment ended, the Bloodline would try and attack Kevin Owens, but it would be the Street Profits who came to KO's aid, which led to a match between the Bloodline and the Street Profits. So
that was awesome.
We got Tonga Loa there making his WWE in-ring debut as Tonga Loa. And honestly, this match was really cool to see because I keep forgetting that Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa are brothers. So it's like you have like a tag team that, as Corey Graves mentioned, are the most successful tag team in Japan as they won 7 GPW pros. Honestly, it's so hard.
Great job.
I try my best. It really shows my loyalty to the WWE. Where, you know, if it's not Raw or SmackDown, I ain't watching. But they are the most successful tag team in New Japan. And they took on one of the more prominent tag teams with the Street Profits. So
as much as you want to not like them, they are good wrestlers.
They really are.
They put on a great show. They're very aggressive too. That's probably the Japan style wrestling. But yeah, I still hate them. And there were the "We Want Roman" chant still, of course, like Roman Reigns. Hopefully he's coming back soon. He's done filming the movie. You know, we saw him in the gym working out with some guys, so hopefully we get Roman back.
I know.
But like we talked about, I think last week and probably the week before, I don't think Roman's going to be happy about this.
Not at all.
I don't think they like the way that the wise man's being treated, and I think things are going to change when Roman comes back.
I'm with you on that. This new Bloodline was able to stand tall and get the win against the Street Profits, which again is an impressive victory in itself because of how good the Street Profits are. And kind of like what you said, you might hate them, but you gotta respect their talent in that ring. So the Bloodline,
and at least they don't come after you.
I know, right? They'll be like, I'm loyal to Roman and just attack me. But all jokes aside, I'm really excited to see where this leads, as it just seems more unpredictable week by week by week.
Can we get an end game of the Judgment Day versus the Bloodline later on this year?
Oh man, that
crossover
when they were at their peaks with Roman, that was the goal. Everyone wanted that, we didn't. But really and truly, I think it's more realistic that we get it with this. So maybe Survivor Series, that's what they do. They do Raw versus SmackDown as Judgment Day versus Bloodline.
That would be good.
That would be good. But moving on now to the final part of SmackDown. This was the main event. I had to get tissues watching this.
A somber ending to the show.
Somber ending.
AJ Styles retiring.
He announced his retirement throughout the show.
He matching shirt with your matching suit there.
And one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, AJ Styles. I've been watching this guy. I'm 21, legit, probably since I was 10 years old, way back in the TNA days.
What did you say, 23 years, I think you said?
Yeah, even like, oh man, so sad. One of my favorites of all time. A lot of rumors that he was going to retire throughout the week, especially after he told Nick Aldis that he didn't have time. And it was done. He said he has to go home, be a phenomenal father to his kids, realize that he's missed so many birthdays. You know what my favorite part of this was? Is when he called down Cody Rhodes. And he said to Cody that we had a phenomenal match at Backlash. And if that was going to be his final match, he went out on a high. And they were crying, both of them.
Now, these two crossed paths backstage. And AJ whispered something to Cody. What do you think he said?
Well, AJ alluded that he whispered for him to come out, but maybe there was more to it. Who knows? Because it was definitely something. Now, I at this point was really sad. I was kind of cutting onions. I was like, damn, it's done. My brothers and I were all watching, like, damn, like AJ Styles really just retired. But then, Dan, what actually happened after this?
Turn.
It was so
Cody raising AJ's hands to the crowd, saluting him, and then turns his back, and AJ just clotheslines him into the ring, and the crowd is stunned.
It was amazing.
And immediately I'm thinking of something AJ said just 2 minutes before. He said, you know, there's no point in me fighting right now. I'm at the bottom of the ladder. I got to work myself all the way back up to get a shot at Cody. Well, he just moved himself back up to the top of the ladder.
Yep. It was amazing.
And the beatdown didn't end here. What happened after this?
Yeah, so he just kept going and going, and boom, Styles clash off of the steel steps. Oh man,
now,
it was so
I
poetic.
watch this with my daughter. So she, anytime Cody Rhodes is on, she has to. She's, Dad, let me know when Cody Rhodes is on. I want to see him walk out. She just wants to see him walk out. She wants to hear the song. She wants to say whoa. She wants to see him throw his hands in the air, punch the ring. She watched this with me, and the two of us were like, "How is he not dead? Yeah. Like this, his hands are in the air. He's completely defenseless." Falling to the ground and just getting smashed into the floor.
Yep.
Did we see Cody after this? Like, did he get up? Was he alive?
All you saw was the medical team going over to help, and you saw the OC just being like, "No, get back."
Yeah.
Get back. A jumping Styles clash off the steel steps. Call it a Mark Henry because he did the fake retirement in the bright suit, and it's looking like AJ Styles is here and he's back.
Yeah. So
oh my
I
god.
think we're gonna get a rematch. I don't know when we'll get a rematch.
Yep.
Maybe a non-title fight next Friday.
Yeah, that would be something
that they're going to build up until SummerSlam. But yeah, that was an ending to a show where we thought we were going to get something sad and a little bit of a different ending on a wrestling night. But
yeah, definitely elevated that SmackDown because, like I said, it was a little less than Raw this week. But however, that ending, it was amazing.
Yeah,
it
was
was
the Bloodline
phenomenal.
ending and this, it was a phenomenal ending.
Yeah.
So
this Friday up on SmackDown is going to be peak. I'm really excited. AJ has to start off the show. I want to hear the boos. I want to hear the heel promo.
And we got lots of injuries on SmackDown. We've got Randy Orton's out now. We got Seth Rollins is out. I think he was on SmackDown, or is he Raw?
He was on Raw, yeah.
Raw, okay. And then obviously Roman. So we need to see some of these people back. Maybe we get Brock Lesnar soon.
Yep.
There's a few other names that are getting tossed around. So
it'll be
and
good.
then also, we haven't talked about this much, but we got another QR code. We got another glitch. We got the Uncle Howdy thing happening.
Yep.
We're getting a little bit closer. You know, when do you think we're finally going to see this?
Yes, I really hope that we're able to get this out of PLE. Scotland would hit home if they did it at Clash. And I feel like you kind of need that audience. As much as I love Monday Night Raw and it does sell out, I think you need that like grand scale.
Yeah.
And honestly, maybe next show we'll break down a bit more. It's been very scary. Right off the bat, it's been very scary. It's been very eerie, and we don't really know what's going on. But
so
it's
many
been
rumors. Former people, you got the Hardys being rumored, and I don't think that's going to happen. But then they've even kind of played into it and shared it. I don't know if they're just doing that for their own personal gain.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of unknowns, but.
Yep.
It's something's coming.
Yep. This tonight on Raw, we'll definitely be looking out for it. And before we wrap it up, we'll just go back quickly. So we do have a couple matches announced for Raw, as we do have right off the bat, Ludwig and Sheamus, another banger, hopefully. I think our boy Sheamus has to win this one.
Sheamus got to win.
Yeah.
Sheamus deserves the win.
Build up his stock.
He's taken a bit of a beating since he's come back. And now that him and Drew McIntyre are no longer fighting, that's it. They're done.
Yep.
Maybe this is his next big matchup for the next while. So.
Yep, with you on that. And then obviously our World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest takes on Rey Mysterio in a non-title fight. I think this has to be Damian, and I want to see a clean win. I love Rey, but I don't know if he's getting his win tonight, unfortunately.
And then we'll probably see the defending women's champion Liv Morgan too tonight.
Oh yeah, it'll be nice. So definitely going to be an action-packed episode of Raw, so you guys definitely need to tune in. But that's going to wrap it up for us today. Awesome. Thank you, Dan, as always, for being here.
Thank you.
It's been really fun. And guys, thank you so much for the support. Definitely check us out on Instagram at DCSA Media Hub and at Riot_Rumble. That's going to do it for us today. My name is Justin. This is Dan, and thank you guys for watching. Yeah, have a good one.
Thank you. Awesome.
W.
Good job, buddy.
Thank you, as always.